I suppose it's time I start sharing my failures and not just my successes. Here is what people are calling the Bagel Coil, after the Bagel game document that Bob Greenyer brought us. That's remoteview.icu if you want his webpage. Anyway, my latest experiment was to put one of these coils inside a standard electrostatic lifter. And I put 3 amps into the coil. It's 24 gauge wire. I just dialed in 3 amps at 60 cycles per second. It turns out to be about 4 volts on the coil. So I'm putting out between 3 and 4 watts, I would think. And it didn't make any difference at all. I mean, it still moves a little bit when I turn it on. The electrostatic lifter section, here's the voltage multiplier. It's a 20 diode series. The power supply, it's 15,000 Chinese volts. I don't know if that's actual volts or not. 18650 battery and a relay, so I can turn the whole thing on and off without actually touching it. So I want to see how much it moves. High voltage is on, and they're off again. But when the coil's on, it doesn't make any additional movement. So I believe I'm going to need not just one of these coils, but I'm going to need to set up 12 of them in this sort of shape. I think Bob Greenyer was correct about that. One of the other things that I should have noticed when I thought about this is that this has arcing between one side and the other, so it does get rid of the field the coil creates. And I really should have thought of that when I built it. Should have put insulators around it or something else. I do think it's a handy feature, and I will continue to use that for experiments. Now, next experiment is going to be, I'm going to try some parallel capacitance with a coil and see what kind of resonance I can find as far as listening to frequencies. And as far as subjective stuff, I've got enough power out of this coil at 3 or 4 watts to where I can feel it quite clearly. It actually feels similar to my pyramid that I will often sleep under, but it feels like a way lower frequency. It's more powerful, and the electrostatic discharge there wipes the field out when I unplug it, as long as I leave the high voltage on. So that's a handy feature. Anyway, any comments or ideas? I'll leave this set up in place for a couple of days, and then I'll take it apart and repurpose it.